I keep hearing about this. That's one of the big breakthroughs in computers is going to be quantum computing.
It's going to be out a year from now, called Something Deeply Hidden, and convince them that the existence of multiple worlds where things look very much the same.
Google's quantum chip, Willow, completed a task in just 5 minutes that would take the world's fastest classical computer longer than the age of the universe. But something unexpected appeared in the results. Patterns that defied predictions and hinted at mysteries beyond normal quantum calculations.
So the difference is, it is in some superposition, and it's not that you don't know. These particles can interact with each other, they can become entangled. You can easily make the problem long enough that it would take the lifetime of the universe to solve it. You're searching for something in a lift.
The machine had crossed into unknown territory, challenging everything scientists thought they knew. What exactly did Willow discover in those 5 minutes? And could it be showing us a hidden layer of reality we've never seen before? Stay tuned as we uncover the mysteries behind Willow's discovery. Google's quantum breakthrough. Google's quantum chip was not a random creation or a sudden burst of genius. It was the culmination of almost 20 years of consistent effort, profound contemplation, and daring investment in one of the most formidable scientific hurdles mankind has encountered. Engineers and physicists labored tirelessly, exploring various concepts, rectifying mistakes, and surpassing boundaries that were previously deemed insurmountable. Countless funds were poured into the project, not with the expectation of immediate triumph, but with the anticipation of revolutionizing the functionality of computers indefinitely. In order to grasp the significance of this microchip, it is beneficial to examine the operational methods of standard computers. Mainstream computers, commonly found in smartphones, laptops, and large data storage facilities, operate on bits. A bit is uncomplicated, representing either a 1 or a 0, signifying on or off. Every image viewed, every text exchanged, and every video watched is dissected into extensive sequences of these ones and zeros. This mechanism has fueled the digital realm for many years, yet it has its constraints. Certain dilemmas are so intricate that even the speediest traditional computers would require more time than the lifespan of the universe to resolve them. Quantum computers operate on a fundamentally distinct level. In place of traditional bits, they rely on qubits. Unlike anything commonly encountered, qubits possess the ability to simultaneously represent both a 1, a 0, or both states. This phenomenon, known as superposition, is not a mere concept, but a tangible physical state that researchers can repeatedly assess. Thanks to superposition, quantum computers have the ability to simultaneously investigate numerous potential solutions rather than evaluating them sequentially. When additional qubits are introduced, they have the ability to become entangled, which results in a peculiar phenomenon. This entanglement signifies that the state of one qubit is inexplicably connected to another, regardless of the distance between them. Alter the state of one qubit, and its entangled counterpart immediately reacts in sync. Albert Einstein famously objected to this concept, labeling it as a mysterious and incomprehensible occurrence. He was convinced that the laws of nature should not allow for such behavior. However, empirical studies have demonstrated the contrary, showing that the universe operates according to its own principles, without consideration for human comfort. Google's quantum chip, named Willow, is equipped with 105 superconducting qubits. Keeping these qubits at an extremely low temperature is crucial. The system functions at around 10 millikelvin, which is only slightly higher than absolute zero. This frigid temperature is even colder than the vacuum of outer space. In such extreme coldness, atomic movement nearly halts and noise diminishes. Quantum phenomena become more prominent while classical physics takes a back seat. It is within this delicate setting that quantum computing can thrive. Quantum computing has struggled for a long time due to major obstacle errors. The fragile nature of qubits makes them vulnerable to external disturbances such as vibrations, electromagnetic signals, or cosmic particles, leading to a loss of quantum state known as decoherence. Consequently, the valuable information stored in the qubit is reduced to chaos. Classical computers can easily handle errors by duplicating, verifying, and rectifying data. In contrast, quantum systems face challenges in error correction as qubits cannot be replicated without losing their unique state. When a qubit is measured, it is forced to decide between being a 1 or a 0, disrupting superposition. This phenomenon, known as the observer effect, has perplexed scientists for more than 100 years and presents significant challenges in the field of engineering. In the past, quantum processors were greatly impacted by this problem. They functioned for short periods of time. As the number of qubits increased, errors increased at a faster rate. This led to more noise and less effective results. The calculations became unreliable and meaningless. This obstacle persisted for many years. Some doubted the possibility of practical quantum computing ever coming to fruition. Willow transformed that conviction. Dr. Hart Nevin, along with a team of brilliant quantum physicists working at Google, managed to accomplish a goal that had been pursued by the field for 3 decades. Their breakthrough involved reducing error rates with the addition of more qubits, a concept that went against previous beliefs. Unlike in previous systems, where adding more components led to failure, in this new system called Willow, expansion led to increased stability. The main technique utilized was the surface code architecture, which involves organizing qubits in a grid formation. Unlike traditional methods, each qubit in this system collaborates with its neighboring qubits to identify and fix errors. Mistakes can be identified without needing to measure the qubits with the actual data. When implemented at a larger scale, this design proves to be highly effective for error correction and protection of the system. This milestone symbolized a significant breakthrough. A quantum system surpassed the error threshold for the very first time. Prior to reaching this threshold, error correction outpaced the occurrence of errors. Dr. Nevin characterized it in straightforward yet impactful language. It is nearly unbelievable to comprehend. A device that enhances its reliability as it becomes more intricate contradicts our usual expectations of technology. But how was Willow proved to be this efficient? Stay with us. The moment Willow was truly tested. Willow's true trial arrived quietly in the early hours of December 9, 2024, while most of the world was fast asleep. At exactly 3:47 in the morning Pacific Time, the quantum chip was given a task that would decide its future. There were no cameras, no public countdowns, and no dramatic announcements. Inside a carefully controlled environment, Willow was simply switched on and asked to prove itself. The task placed before it was called a random circuit sampling benchmark. This test was not meant to be useful in daily life. It would not help someone send a message or watch a video. Its purpose was much deeper. This benchmark exists to measure pure quantum strength. It forces a quantum processor to create and verify extremely complex random patterns. These patterns depend completely on quantum superposition and entanglement working together without breaking apart. It is one of the hardest trials a quantum machine can face. For a classical computer, this task is not just difficult. It is essentially impossible when scaled up. The fastest classical machine in the world, Frontier, fills an entire room and consumes enormous power. Even with all its strength, experts estimated that Frontier would need around 10 septillion years to finish the calculation. That number is almost impossible to picture. It equals 10 trillion, 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 trillion years. To understand how extreme this is, it helps to compare it to the age of the universe. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Frontier would need to run far longer than the universe is expected to exist, many times over, and still, the task would not be complete. The scale of the problem places it far beyond classical limits. Willow completed the same task in less than 5 minutes. When the calculation ended, there was no celebration, no cheers, no pause to admire the moment. The data was immediately sent to verification systems. Engineers carefully checked error rates. Scientists compared the results with theoretical predictions. Every outcome matched perfectly. The chip behaved exactly as designed. It passed the benchmark without any visible flaws. Then, something unexpected appeared. Internal monitoring systems noticed unusual patterns in the output. These findings were later mentioned in technical documents. Engineers observed lingering coherent signatures in the qubits. In simple terms, the qubits held onto certain relationships longer than expected. They did not let go as quickly as known models predicted. Normally, when a quantum computation finishes, the system settles down. Qubits collapse into fixed states. Superposition ends. Entanglement fades away. The strange quantum behavior disappears, and the machine returns to its resting condition. This is how every known quantum system behaves. Willow did not fully follow this pattern. Its qubits showed signs of entanglement lasting a little longer than expected. These effects continued for a few extra microseconds. While that may sound insignificant in everyday terms, in the quantum world it matters greatly. Those extra moments suggested that something unusual was happening during the most intense part of the calculation. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a theoretical physicist from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, was asked to review the data. She offered a careful and balanced interpretation. According to her analysis, nothing observed broke known physical laws. However, the behavior pressed tightly against the limits of current understanding. The extended coherence suggested that Willow may have briefly reached computational states beyond standard descriptions of space and time. This idea may sound like science fiction, but it has deep roots in quantum theory. For many years, scientists have debated what truly happens inside quantum systems. One interpretation, once considered controversial, returned to the spotlight after Willow's test. This idea is known as the many worlds hypothesis. The many worlds view suggests that every quantum event causes reality to branch. When a particle exists in superposition, all possible outcomes occur. Each outcome exists in a separate reality that does not interact with the others. If a qubit is measured as 0 in one branch, another branch contains the result where it is 1. Both outcomes are real. The universe does not choose a single path. It expands into many. For a long time, this idea remained mostly philosophical. It was elegant, but difficult to test. It offered little practical value. Quantum computing changed that. If many worlds are correct, then a quantum computer does not simply calculate faster in one universe. Instead, it spreads the work across parallel realities. Each branch handles part of the computation. When the result is measured, the outcomes combine into one answer. This raises a powerful question. How did Willow complete a task in minutes that would take classical machines longer than the age of the universe? Hart Nevin addressed this directly in a public statement that drew widespread attention. He argued that Willow's performance cannot be fully explained using only the computational resources of our observable universe. According to his view, the result suggests access to a far greater processing space. This was not speculation from an outsider. It came from the head of Google Quantum AI, a scientist backed by years of research and testing. His words suggested that For a brief moment, Willow may have operated across multiple realities at the same time. And in that quiet early morning, something changed forever. If something like this would be so convenient to the future, why was it shut down? Let's find out. Why Willow was powered down. After Willow completed its important milestone test, many people expected cheers, fast news releases, and a quick return to work. It felt like a moment made for celebration. But something very different happened. Instead of staying on, Willow was gently powered down. The room grew quiet. Screens went dark, and the world was left wondering why. Officials explained the shutdown in calm and careful words. They said it was planned, normal, and necessary. Google shared that the pause was part of scheduled maintenance and a deep review of the data. Quantum machines are extremely sensitive. They must be kept colder than outer space. After long periods of work, even tiny changes can affect their balance. Because of this, engineers often turn systems off between major tests to reset and protect them. On the surface, this explanation made sense. Quantum computers are not like everyday machines. A small change in temperature, a tiny vibration, or a bit of electrical noise can affect results. Engineers regularly stop operations to protect the fragile system and keep future experiments accurate. From this point of view, the shutdown did not seem strange at all. It felt careful. It felt responsible. But as days passed, small details began to raise quiet questions. The first sign was timing. The data from the benchmark was not released right away. For such a major success, this was unusual. Almost a full week passed before early results were shared. In the fast-moving world of science, this felt slow. No clear reason was given for the delay, and that silence stood out. The second detail involved access. Some raw data was shared with outside experts for review. Later, a few of these scientists noticed something odd. Certain data streams were missing. Parts had been removed without explanation. While editing data is not new, it is uncommon for tests meant to prove openness and trust. This made people pause and look closer. Then came a third moment, even more interesting than the rest. At a private meeting in Geneva, Dr. Mel Petrov spoke quietly but carefully. He was once an advisor to Google's quantum team and now works independently with a major European research group. He shared that the coherence patterns seen in Willow suggested behavior beyond current theories. He advised caution before turning such a powerful machine back on. What caught attention was his choice of words. He did not speak only about computing. He spoke about interaction. He hinted at an exchange. He used a single word that stayed in everyone's mind: interfacing. Dr. Petrov did not explain further. He offered no details, but that one word felt heavy. It suggested a relationship, a response. It hinted that Willow may not have been working alone in the way normal machines do. To understand why this matters, it helps to look at how people have always seen the world. For most of history, humans believed in one clear timeline. Cause comes before effect. The past is fixed. The future moves forward in a straight line. This view fits everyday life. But quantum science has always challenged it. At the smallest levels, the rules change. Time does not always move smoothly. Particles can seem to affect their own past. Information can appear to travel instantly across space. Outcomes stay uncertain until they are observed. For a long time, these strange effects lived only inside labs, far from daily life. Willow changed that boundary. When over 100 qubits work together in stable and corrected harmony, quantum effects move from theory to reality. They stop being ideas and start producing real results. quantum behavior becomes useful, measurable, and powerful. This shift is deeply important. Dr. Sarah Chen, a philosopher of physics, has spoken about what this means. She explains that new technology forces society to face questions once left to philosophy. If quantum machines truly depend on parallel realities to work, then those realities may be practical, not imaginary. Willow's test made this idea feel solid and real. The benchmark Willow completed was not just about speed. It tested true quantum behavior. To pass, a system must create delicate probability patterns that collapse with even the smallest mistake. Classical machines cannot fake this. Guessing does not work. Only real quantum processes succeed. Willow's results matched theory with stunning accuracy. Errors stayed low, patterns aligned. The system held a deep quantum state with grace and control. Because of that success, the shutdown felt necessary. Science celebrates when expectations are met, but it becomes careful when they are exceeded. The extended coherence seen in Willow hinted that something subtle happened. Not dangerous, not magical, just not fully understood yet. In science, understanding must come before progress. Turning Willow off allowed space for calm study. It gave researchers time to look closely, without pressure. It protected both the machine and the minds trying to understand it. And in that quiet pause, a new chapter gently began. But if this wasn't the strangest discovery in regards to Willow, what is? Beyond the patterns no one expected. However, an odd sensation starts to arise at this point. Typically, the verification procedure operates in a straightforward and meticulous manner. Researchers typically match the designs generated by a quantum chip against those anticipated by established quantum theory. Generally, the conformity is easily substantiated. Nonetheless, in the case of Willow, an extremely tiny fraction of the findings appeared distinct. A mere less than 0.01% of the outcomes exhibited configurations that did not align with any projected model. The unique formations observed were not simply background noise. Noise is chaotic and unpredictable, lacking any defined structure or significance. In contrast, the anomalies found in Willow's data displayed a sense of organization and regularity. These recurring patterns seem to adhere to a specific pattern or cadence, prompting immediate interest from the researchers. Quantum information theorist Dr. James Whitfield from Dartmouth College investigated a portion of the data and provided a thorough analysis. He noticed recurring sequences that occurred regularly, which should not occur in a truly random quantum sample. Various potential explanations were explored, including calibration errors and environmental interference, but they were both eliminated as causes. Despite this, the patterns persisted. The analysis suggested that these patterns were inherent in the quantum state rather than being introduced by the machine, and they have been present since the beginning of the computation. The uncovering of this finding prompted a more profound inquiry, which may seem straightforward, but is actually complex. The definition of information is something that we encounter regularly in our daily lives. It encompasses written text, numerical data, and recollections stored in our brains. It is information that we hold on to, exchange with others, and manipulate. However, according to current theories in physics, the significance of information may be greater than previously thought. Some scholars suggest that information goes beyond just existing within the universe. It is possible that the universe is fundamentally composed of information. Matter, forces, and even space-time could be derived from more complex informational structures. Reality could potentially function as a massive self-operating system, constantly processing and revising itself. If this concept holds true, Quantum computers are more than just efficient at solving problems quickly. They serve as instruments for delving into the most profound depths of existence. Instead of merely crunching numbers, they make contact with the fundamental architecture that underlies reality. The theoretical physicist, Dr. Leonard Susskind from Stanford University, has discussed the idea in clear language. He proposes that quantum computers function on a fundamental level of existence. When qubits are connected and altered, the procedure is not just a matter of numbers. It reshapes the fundamental structure of the cosmos deliberately. As these alterations expand and become more intricate, the results become unpredictable. The boundaries of this phenomenon remain unknown for now. After Willow made its announcement and closed down, there was a significant decrease in the flow of information. Google provided minimal updates regarding the chip's upcoming developments. The scheduled follow-up experiments were put on hold indefinitely. Academic collaborators who were anticipating access to shared data were informed that timelines were being reassessed. Enquiries from the media were met with courteous yet restricted replies. When quantum technology began asking bigger questions, Google never expected to face questions like these. Willow was built with clear and practical goals. It was meant to solve hard optimization problems, speed up substance discovery, improve cryptography, and push machine learning forward. The plan was focused and grounded. No one imagined that a machine made to solve equations would lead people to wonder about the true nature of reality. That is exactly what happened. Willow went beyond expectations and changed the conversation. Researchers slowly moved from asking what quantum computers can do to asking what quantum mechanics really means. This shift felt new and uncomfortable for a technology company. Google is used to measuring progress with speed, power, and efficiency. Deep questions about existence usually belong to philosophers and theoretical physicists. Willow quietly blurred those boundaries. Google is not alone in the race for quantum computing. IBM has been building its own systems, including the Condor processor with 1,000 qubits, using a different design philosophy. In China, systems like Origin Wukong and Zhujiang have shown strong progress. Across Europe, public research programs are moving forward with great support. Every major group in the field is watching Willow closely. What happened next was subtle but meaningful. From December onward, reports suggested that several research programs began making small changes to their plans. The shift was not toward faster machines or larger systems. Instead, attention turned inward. Teams began focusing more on basic research. They wanted to better understand what quantum mechanics truly represents, not just how to use it. For a long time, these basic questions were often set aside. Many physicists believed it was better to focus on calculations and predictions. Even if quantum theory felt strange, it worked. That belief guided decades of progress. But machines like Willow are gently changing that mindset. One famous physicist from the 20th century once admitted that no one truly understands quantum mechanics. That statement still feels true today. Scientists can now build machines that depend on superposition and entanglement. They can use these effects to solve problems classical computers cannot. Yet full understanding remains out of reach. We know how to use quantum mechanics. We know how to build with it. We know how to benefit from it. But its deeper meaning still escapes us. Willow did not solve this mystery. Instead, it made it impossible to ignore. Even so, quantum development has not slowed down. In fact, it is moving faster. Google has shared plans to improve future chips with more qubits, stronger error correction, and longer coherence times. The long-term goal is fault-tolerant quantum computing within the next 10 years. Such systems could run continuously and fix their own errors. these machines could change the world. Better molecule simulations could transform medicine and materials science. Breaking current encryption could force a complete rethink of digital security. Smarter optimization could reshape supply chains and climate models. Deeper access to the quantum world could open new paths in science itself. With great power comes responsibility. Some researchers believe advanced quantum machines may reveal new layers of truth, not just solve problems. This idea is not frightening, but it calls for care. When tools become capable of touching the foundations of nature, understanding becomes just as important as skill. A researcher at Cambridge offered a gentle comparison. Today's quantum computers are like early airplanes. The first planes were slow, fragile, and unreliable. Engineers did not fully understand flight yet. Still, those early flights proved it was possible. From that moment on, progress could not be stopped. Its story has only begun, and the future waits patiently now. What does this mean for the future? A new frontier. The impacts of quantum computing extend beyond just advancements in technology. They go beyond simply improving speed or intelligence in machines. They delve into areas such as philosophy, theology, and the fundamental question of human existence. Quantum computing's increasing capabilities prompt us to consider not just our creations, but also the nature of reality itself. The concept of the many worlds interpretation in quantum mechanics is quite alarming. According to this perspective, every quantum occurrence leads to the branching of reality into multiple parallel dimensions. In each of these dimensions, every potential outcome comes to fruition. This suggests that the universe is immensely vast, encompassing every conceivable scenario. Every historical possibility and future likelihood exist within these divergent realities. Even decisions that were not made in our current reality play out in alternate universes. According to this concept, the concept of free will becomes ambiguous. Each possible choice is actualized in various parallel realities. Life unfolds in multiple directions simultaneously. Death no longer holds its ultimate significance. While one reality may end a life, countless others carry on. Some individuals find this notion unsettling, while others find it reassuring. In any case, it disrupts our conventional beliefs about who we are, the decisions we make, and the significance we attribute to our existence. The concept of many worlds interpretation is not universally embraced. Certain physicists vehemently oppose it. Scholars such as Roger Penrose have put forward different interpretations to elucidate quantum phenomena without resorting to the concept of endless parallel universes. Various theories emphasize the significance of consciousness. Some propose that quantum systems undergo collapse in perplexing manners that are still not completely comprehended. The discussion continues without a definitive conclusion. The debate now resides in a different location than before. For many years, these inquiries remained largely abstract. They were the subject of literary works, talks, and private discussions. The development of quantum computing has brought them nearer to practical application. Rather than merely speculating on the nature of reality, researchers are now actively constructing devices that may uncover its secrets. This change is significant. Currently, Willow is not available for use. Google has not provided an update on when it will be restored. The reason given is that a detailed examination is being conducted. The information gathered is intricate and needs thorough evaluation. Findings will likely be published in scientific journals in the upcoming months. This cautious method is appropriate considering the gravity of the situation. Beneath the surface, the situation seems to be more complex. People involved in the project have hinted at ongoing deep discussions. The main concern is not just about how well it works or how it can be used. It is about the significance of it all, the unanticipated patterns found in the data, the lasting sense of harmony, the potential that theories such as parallel universes could now be proven through experiments. Certain scientists are eager to advance rapidly. They view Willow as evidence that quantum computing can surpass existing boundaries. They are convinced that advancement will naturally lead to enlightenment. On the other hand, some advocate for prudence. They propose that activating machines capable of engaging with obscure phenomena may be premature. This caution is not driven by fear, but by the need for comprehensive comprehension. Dr. Petrov, who previously advised on the project, eloquently described the conflict. He likened Willow to a sophisticated telescope, one that allows us to see further than ever. However, the challenge arises when we struggle to interpret what we see. There seems to be an unknown element at play. The crucial issue is whether humanity is prepared to face it. The past can provide valuable insights in this situation. Over the course of history, people have encountered the unfamiliar with a mix of apprehension and curiosity. Individuals conquered mountains not out of necessity, but out of a desire to explore the unknown. Sailors navigated across seas without knowledge of what awaited them on the other side. Scientific instruments revealed that our planet was not the focal point of the cosmos, prompting us to delve further into the mysteries of the universe. Every advancement altered humanity's perception of themselves. The advancement of quantum computing is considered the next progression in technology. It goes beyond speed and applications to focus on deepening our comprehension. Just as fire revolutionized daily life, writing extended the life of ideas, and electricity transformed darkness, quantum computing has the potential to redefine our understanding of reality. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.